Drake thought he was about to flip the whole game tonight by launching what he hyped up as round 2 in his war with Kendrick Lamar, but the stunt blew up in his face instantly. During a surprise livestream that pulled in thousands of curious fans, Drake teased new music aimed directly at Kendrick, bragging like he was about to reclaim the crown. But instead of sparking hype, the entire moment crashed into chaos. The chat wasn't filled with support. It was filled with laughing emojis, clown comments, and fans dragging his bars like they were parody lines. One viral tweet put it perfectly. Kendrick didn't even need to reply. Drake embarrassed himself live. The humiliation was brutal. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, Kendrick's army started reposting his old diss tracks, the same verses that already cut Drake down in the first round. Side-by-side comparisons lit up the timeline with people saying Drake's new material couldn't hold a candle to Kendrick's lyrical power. Industry insiders didn't call it a comeback. They called it a reckless miscalculation. Instead of re-establishing dominance, Drake may have just proven what critics have whispered for months. Kendrick already owns this war. His so-called round 2 didn't just flop. It pushed him deeper into the pit with the internet roasting every single word. Now the question hangs heavy. How do you keep fighting a battle when the culture has already crowned your rival the victor? Tonight was supposed to be Drake's redemption, but it might have sealed his downfall even more. Drake is trying to shake the whole rap game tonight, and after 488 long days of silence, the tension is explosive. The entire industry has been waiting to see if he would finally clap back at Kendrick Lamar. And now it looks like he's trying to turn this night into his big revenge play. But instead of anticipation building him up, the vibe already feels like a setup for disaster. Inside OO, the so-called gremlins in Inner Circle have been hyping this risky move, whispering that Drake's about to drop something wild. But the warning signs are flashing bright. Word around the scene is that he's been plotting a reckless stunt, convinced it'll land the knockout punch he's been desperate for. But the critics, they're laughing already, calling it nothing more than desperation wearing ambition's mask. Some are even saying fans shouldn't brace for history being made. They should brace for one of the ugliest flops hip-hop has seen since that Family Matters fiasco. And the timing couldn't be more chaotic. Tonight doesn't just mark Drake's so-called round 2. It's also the release of episode 3 of Lore's infamous Iceman series. And that's got people buzzing. Why? Because first up, fans are bracing for another cringy live stream moment. The type of clip that could rival his embarrassing Pinocchio chase fiasco. But the real bombshell, Drake is gearing up to drop a brand new track. And the question is whether it saves him or buries him once and for all. Here's where things get messy. Instead of keeping his cards close, Drake has allegedly been running his mouth, spilling way too much about this so-called secret weapon track. Reports say insiders already know the whole vibe. They're calling it Drake's Red Button, a song hyped up like it's supposed to blow the entire industry wide open. His team is pitching it like the ultimate weapon. The track that's going to shatter reputations and prove he's still the king. But the problem, this doesn't look like strategy. It looks like delusion. By leaking details and hyping it as some industry-ending moment, Drake has raised expectations to the heavens. And in hip-hop, that's a dangerous game. The higher you gas yourself up, the harder the fall. When people call cap, the streets aren't treating this like just another single. The whispers are clear. This isn't a club record. It isn't a TikTok hit. It's being framed as a full-on disc aimed squarely at Kendrick Lamar. That's the one card left in his deck. The one move Ohio stands believe can rally the base, taking shots at the man who dismantled Drake's aura piece by piece. For the Ohio faithful, Kendrick is the villain. The one who ruined the Drake era they thought was untouchable. So now this nuclear record is being sold as the big answer, Drake's moment of redemption. Insiders even claim it's packed with more raw rapping than anything we've heard from him since Family Matters. Maybe even more. But if this red button doesn't land exactly how they promise, it won't just be another miss. It'll be Drake's biggest self-destruction yet. But here's where it gets wild. Reports say Drake isn't just aiming at Kendrick. He's lining up bars for Whitney Alford, Dave Free, and others tied directly to Kendrick's circle. That's how deep his obsession has gone. It's no longer just about taking shots at Lamar. It's about trying to rattle everyone around it. The fixation is screaming louder than the music itself. And the title, it only makes the circus bigger. Sticking to his awkward Iceman series, Drake has rolled out another cringe concept. First came, what did I miss? Then which one? Which, let's be real, isn't even one of the 5 W's. And now the latest is allegedly called Who Was It? Fans are roasting already, saying the whole rollout sounds more like a grammar workbook than a rap series. Critics argue it's the clearest proof yet that creativity is slipping through Drake's fingers. Instead of breaking new ground while his career balance hangs by a thread, he's falling back on lazy titles and surface-level themes. It's a move people say reeks of desperation, not dominance. From the build-up alone, insiders expect a chaotic track full of wild accusations, messy energy, and delusional claims. But here's the real cliffhanger. Will this Who Was It track actually shake the culture, or will it end up as another humiliating stumble in Drake's growing list of failed plays against Kendrick? Even within his own camp, the divide is sharp. Ohio's most loyal defenders keep screaming that this is the one. The long-awaited red button moment, nearly 500 days in the making. To them, this isn't just a single. It's supposed to be the grand comeback. But the rest of the world, they're not so sure. But outside of OVO's echo chamber, the industry is clowning this whole rollout. Insiders who've already heard pieces of the track say the energy feels recycled, like Drake is dusting off an old script from over a year ago, back when he swore he'd strike back after Kendrick torched him in round 1. Instead of sounding fresh, it feels like déjà vu, and not in a good way. Critics argue the warning signs are screaming at us. This so-called diss track is a dangerous gamble, especially with Drake's shaky record in rap battles. The odds of another disaster are sky-high and the culture already senses he's not prepared for the heat. And just when it couldn't get worse, snippets of the beat have leaked. Reportedly, it played during the end of Iceman 2, right after that ridiculous Pinocchio run scene and Drake awkwardly freezing inside an elevator. The instrumental itself is dark and heavy, built for rapping. But even the right canvas can't save weak brush strokes. Behind the scenes, the whispers are even uglier. Word is Drake's writer room is buckling under pressure, scrambling to find bars sharp enough to touch Kendrick. Rumors say the stress has gotten so extreme it's like the team is on strike, exhausted, drained, and running out of angles that won't instantly get clowned. If this really is his infamous red button, then Drake's gambling his entire legacy on a squad that might not even have bullets left in the chamber. One wrong move and instead of redemption, he's handing Kendrick another easy victory. And here we are again, Drake hyping up this so-called red button like it's the nuke that'll flip the culture, while reality paints a completely different picture. The question everyone's asking is simple. What does he really think he's going to accomplish with this Iceman Episode 3 rollout? To the OVO faithful, the energy feels like déjà vu. They're acting as if another Family Matters moment is about to rewrite history. But the truth, it's way harder to swallow. This entire play shows just how deep OVO is stuck in denial. They can't let go of the humiliation from last time. So instead, they cling to the fantasy that this time will be different. But look closely. It's the textbook definition of insanity. Repeating the same moves while expecting a new result. The obsession with forcing a gotcha moment is starting to feel desperate and fake. And here's the irony. History might slap Drake twice as hard this round. Picture Kendrick Lamar dropping a brand new track at the exact same moment, instantly drowning out Drake's rollout, the same way he embarrassed him back in May last year. That wouldn't just repeat the humiliation. It would prove once again who really controls the culture. For a lot of people, that would be the perfect reminder. Kendrick doesn't even need gimmicks to win. His artistry alone commands the entire genre's attention while Drake scrambles with smoke, mirrors, and weak stunts. And yet, after nearly 500 days of build-up, all this strategy still looks flimsy, hollow, and stripped bare. If this is the comeback, it's already looking like another crash landing. What's left of this so-called master plan looks more like noise than music. Messy rapping thrown together, designed to irritate more than inspire.
If this is Drake's big red button, it's not a weapon. It's a broken alarm, blaring loud, desperate, and directionless.
And standing right in the middle of it all is Kendrick Lamar, the one figure who keeps exposing just how chaotic this entire saga has become. Once again, it's the living version of that old man yelling at the cloud meme. Drake screaming into the void, making his situation worse with every move. Beyond the rivalry, beyond